Hey folks, thanks for joining us and welcome back to Straight Talk Whiskey. This is Whiskey Review number 19 and the last whiskey review of our mini-series on Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey, and also the advent of changing the mash bill with Tennessee Rye. So last week in Whiskey Review 18 we did the unaged rye. Now this week we have the rested rye that's been taking some time in some fine Jack Daniel's own homemade barrels, American oak, and so that's what we got for you today. Again, the same, just have these two here to compare. Same exact bottles, type of bottles rather. And again, for those of you keeping track at home, so this is actually the second batch of the rye experiment that Jack Daniel's is having. As you know, this was the first batch, the unaged rye, last week. But the bottle number is 17881. In case, I don't know why you need that information, but hey, at least to me, more information is better. And this is 80 proof, as we know. So there's a little bit of a label on here. Distilled in August of 2013. Just goes into talking a little bit about it, but nothing too crazy about what's going on. It's just been resting a little longer. Again, as I said last week, this is just an exploration into changing the mash bill to predominantly rye, and by predominantly we mean over 51, well, at least 51% rye. So as we noticed last week, we got sort of some fruitier notes and a little bit of creamier mouthfeel to the whiskey, which was interesting because you might think that rye kind of gives off this spicier kick that we might taste in the whiskey, but actually when it becomes a predominant grain in the mash bill, what we get is something, like I said, a little bit of dried fruits and a little creamier. So that's interesting in and of itself. I just want to put out there, I was perusing, the internet and looking around. There's only a couple reviews of the rested rye, and the one that I saw, again, I'm not going to give out any names or anything like that, but completely bashed the whiskey. It's not good. Why would you waste your money on it? That sort of thing. What you have to understand is if you're going out to look for and purchase these whiskeys, which are pretty hard to find now, especially with people like collectors that snatch these bottles up and then, don't taste them, which is a whole different story. But, so yeah, people are going out and buying these, but if you personally are going out to buy these for just the flavor, and you think that it's just going to be like this wonderful, wonderful whiskey, you have to remember that a lot of that comes from the aging in oak barrels over time, and that gives a lot of flavors and aromas and that sort of thing to the whiskey. So just be aware that this is an experiment, just an exploration into this change in recipe at Jack Daniel's. It's not meant to be a finished whiskey. It is demonstrating a process. So that's what you're getting. Just want to make sure you know before you go out there and look at reviews and they're like, no, don't buy this. It all depends on what your intent is. And also while I was cruising around, I landed on the Jack Daniel's website, as I often do, just to see if there's anything new going on. And I have to say, with the recent kind of public want and desire, rather, for transparency and more information about what you're tasting and that sort of thing, I just saw a really nice little mini video that Jack Daniel's had about how they make their barrels, which is really interesting. Obviously that doesn't I mean, I'm pretty sure there's other videos on there about how they, make the whiskey and sort of thing like that, and certainly you can take tours, but I thought it was a great thing that they put up a video on, all the people involved and all the mechanics and that sort of thing that goes into making these barrels. Now, they're actually the only distillery in the entire world at this point that makes their own homemade barrels. And I was sort of thinking about that today as I, sampled this for the first time, because I was like, taking a nose from it, I start to smell, that traditional Jack Daniel's smells, like that sort of thing. And, I think largely it's due to the barrels that they make handmade. Certainly the charcoal mellowing process adds a bit of that too that makes it unique. But I think largely it's due to the homemade barrels. So that was interesting. Also, in some other news, there is a Jack Daniel's number 27, I believe. I think 27 is right. Which is a double matured whiskey from Jack Daniel's. They say they put it in like a golden hued oak barrel, double maturation, that sort of thing. So apparently it's out there. I heard it's in duty-free airport stores around the world. I'm not sure which ones yet, but I did hear rumors, and I'm not sure if these are true or not, so don't quote me on it, but that they'll be in the United States by the end of this year. So that's, again, just a rumor. I'm not sure. I don't know, because there's a lot of UK viewers. I'm not sure when that's going to get there. Hopefully soon. I know taxes are outrageous, but yeah, so I think that's where it is now. It's in some airport stores, which, might be interesting. I wish it was here so I could add it to the series, but we're going to have to wait a little bit. So let's get into the whiskey here. So I mentioned before that, it's starting to impart that real distinct Jack Daniel's character to it, and that's largely due to these notes of vanilla and wood smoke and caramel and that sort of thing. I'm definitely getting some more subtle, more muted tones of dried fruits, a little bit of apricots in there, maybe some dried out cranberries coming along for the ride. Definitely a slightly nuttier taste. Kind of like peanuts. You get a bag of peanuts at a circus or something like that, because I know everyone goes to the circus every week. But yeah, there's that smell to it. Definitely the first thing that I get is this sort of creaminess that's going on. It's almost like a sweetened applesauce, if you will. That sort of flavor that lingers on your tongue after you taste it. It's really smooth, nice creaminess to it, a little bit chewy, a little bit like gummy, that sort of, just in terms of mouthfeel, not in terms of like chewing gum or anything like that. Just texture sort of thing. Now I'd say it's definitely, like I said, creamier and a little bit fruitier rather than the traditional old number 7, Black Label Jack Daniel's recipe that tends to be on sort of more of the toasted oak, wood, caramel, vanilla, that sort of thing, cinnamon as well. This tends towards the fruitier side. There's a slight little nip back there, black pepper, that sort of like crushed black pepper. But on the whole, these people can say what they want. Say it's a terrible whiskey, whatever. It's not, in my opinion. You know, it's just not. I think they're doing a wonderful job at Jack Daniel's of kind of exploring this new recipe, and you know, it's great to have something different when, you know, things have stayed the same for so long. You know, probably over 100 and something years. I can't recall exactly when Jack Daniel's started. I want to say 1886. Just throwing that. It's either 86 or 66 or one of those. I'm sure someone will correct me, but yeah. So I think it's coming along nicely. Not sure how long they'll age this for. Again, I'm not sure how long the traditional Jack Daniel's is. A lot of people say it's 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Nobody really knows. Well, somebody knows, it's just not me. Yeah, I think it's coming along pretty wonderfully. There's definitely kind of this sweet and sour finish that's going on, partially due to still some of that rye you can taste. Looks like malted rye, as well as these fruitier notes that I mentioned, some of the dried nuts, that sort of thing. So, in conclusion, we're not going to give it a score just like last week with the unaged rye because there's really nothing to compare it to right now, at least that I have on me. So, next week, we got to get back on track. Next week, I can't remember where we're going next week. It probably could be a Scotch, could be Irish whiskey, might even be a pot still Irish whiskey for that matter. Not entirely sure. A couple weeks from now, we will be on location in the Emerald Isle, Ireland, for 2 weeks. You'll have some whiskey reviews, hopefully outside somewhere. I'm not sure if they like that thing over there. I know it's not really looked happily upon here. You know, you might get arrested for disorderly conduct, or they'll, you know, pin some charge on you here if you try doing that. But, you know, I think it'll be nice. So we'll do specifically some Irish whiskeys there. I'd love to get my hands on something that I can't get here in the United States and review that for you. You know, just something unique to bring to the table. So, for Straight Talk Whiskey, episode 19, thanks for coming along. I really appreciate it. You know, tell your friends. You know, feel free to comment. I love when I hear other people's stories, where they're at in their whiskey experience and journey. Just, you know, it's great to be a part of this community. You know, it's a small group. So, glasses up, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.